Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Psych. That boy's got too much skills for me, buddy.
Yo, word on the street is Kelly Rowland just set it off. And it's the kind of drama fans been whispering about for years. People been waiting on this tea forever. And now it's finally spilling all over the place. Whispers about a troubled relationship, some serious behind closed doors drama she kept locked up tight, and that heavy pressure from the industry that had her lips sealed. And then there's that wild theory that's been growing louder with every year. People out here saying the father of her son might not be her husband at all. But Jay-Z? What? People been asking for a Destiny's secret, and this one's blowing up fast. Now Kelly's finally breaking her silence, and Hollywood is shook. So let's rewind it real quick. Kelly Rowland was born on February 11th, 1981 in Atlanta, Georgia. When she was a little girl, her mom, Doris Rowland Garrison, packed up and left her dad, Christopher Lovett, because he was dealing with some serious demons and major personal issues. After leaving her dad behind, Kelly and her mom made a fresh start in Houston, Texas. That's where things really started to change. In Houston, Kelly got super tight with Beyonce, like sisters tight. She even moved in with Bey's family for a bit and saw Tina Knowles as her second mom.
Shout to you.
That bond was deep. Kelly always had music in her heart, even when she was just a kid. By the early 90s, Kelly had jumped into the music game by joining a girl group called Girls Time. But let's be real, it wasn't all glitter and glam at first. They took a big L on Star Search and even got dropped by their first record label. The struggle was real, but things flipped when Beyonce's dad, Matthew Knowles, stepped in as their manager. That move changed everything. He scored them a deal with Columbia Records, and boom, they were on the rise. In 1997, they dropped their debut single just in time for that Men in Black wave, and not long after, they hit the scene hard with No, No, No. And just like that, they blew up. Destiny's Child became a global phenomenon. Their second album, The Writings on the Wall, went crazy with hits like Bills, 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 and Say My Name. That second album exploded. Say My Name wasn't just a hit, it snagged 2 Grammy Awards and had the whole world singing. The group was unstoppable, or so it seemed. But behind the scenes, it was rocky. Some original members bounced, new ones came in, drama, tension, all of it. Still, Destiny's Child kept it pushing and dropped banger after banger like nothing could stop them. When the group finally went their separate ways, Kelly didn't just fade into the background. Nah, she stepped into her own spotlight. She kicked off her solo career with a bang, teaming up with other big names in the game. Her biggest hit, no doubt, Dilemma with Nelly. That track dominated the charts and hit #1 like it owned the radio. As the years rolled on, Kelly kept grinding. She made music, got into acting, and even became a judge on some major TV talent shows. But while the cameras showed smiles behind them, she was dealing with real pain. She hadn't seen her dad in 30 years, and that left a scar. She felt abandoned and heartbroken. But after becoming a mom herself, she felt that pull to make peace. Losing her own mom in 2014 hit her hard, and that loss pushed her to reach out. And guess who backed her during that moment? Jay-Z. With his support, she found the strength to face her past. When she finally reunited with her dad, all that built-up pain melted away. They talked for hours, and just like that, years of silence were gone. But now, people are talking again. Rumors been heating up that Jay-Z might actually be the real father of Kelly's son. The gossip hit a new level when Jay-Z popped up at the LA premiere of The Harder They Fall. When Jay-Z showed up at that movie premiere, all eyes were on him. But things really popped off when he spotted Kelly Rowland. At first, it looked like he didn't even notice her, like she was just another face in the crowd. But then, boom, his whole energy shifted. He lit up like a light switch. He got real hyped, and fans online caught every second of it. Social media went crazy. People been saying for years that Jay-Z and Kelly Rowland were tight, but that moment, it had folks wondering if there's way more to the story than they ever let on. See, this rumor ain't new. It's been floating around for years, some say decades. that Jay-Z and Kelly might have been more than just friends. And the biggest reason? Fans swear up and down that Kelly's son, Titan, looks exactly like Jay-Z. It's been 5 years of this talk, and instead of fading out, it's just getting louder. People online been comparing pics, zooming in on Titan's face, pointing out the nose, the eyes, even the smile, claiming it's a straight-up copy of Jay. Some even say Beyonce's fans are playing blind, pretending not to see the resemblance. In the comments, they've gone wild. Some are out here calling Kelly Becky #2, throwing it way back to those messy cheating rumors. Others boldly say Kelly's son looks more like Jay-Z than even his real kids. Whether it's fact or fiction, one thing's for sure, these rumors just won't quit, and they've got more and more people starting to really wonder what the truth is. One person online tried to cool the flames, breaking down why Titan might resemble Jay-Z without jumping on the affair train. They were like, look, I don't think Kelly and Jay-Z were ever a thing. He's not even her type. Still, even they had to admit, Titan does kind of look like both Jay-Z and Blue Ivy. That got people side-eyeing real hard. But here's the twist. When you put Titan side by side with his real dad, the resemblance is undeniable, especially when you dig up old photos of his pops at the same age. It's like looking in a mirror. Same features, same vibe, clear as day. Kelly's been dodging rumors for years. First, folks tried to box her in as just Beyonce's shadow, the so-called little sis, always standing behind the queen. But now, that gossip's taken a wild left turn. Suddenly, the internet's whispering that her son might actually be Beyonce's husband's child. That's a whole new level of messy. And this ain't the only time Jay-Z's name got dragged into paternity drama. Another story been lurking in the background. A dude named Ramir Satterthwaite has been saying for years that Jay-Z is his real father. Ramir says his mom had a thing with Jay-Z when she was just 16 years old. He and his family been trying to get proof, but Jay-Z, he's never taken a paternity test. That silence, it's got folks talking louder than ever. Instead of taking the paternity test, Jay-Z hit back with legal tactics to dodge it. That move kicked off a legal war that dragged on for over a decade. Jay-Z kept denying he was Ramir's father and argued that the New Jersey courts had no right to force him to take any DNA tests. That whole back and forth only added more fuel to the suspicions. Ramir and his godmother, Dr. Lily Coley, felt something wasn't adding up. They were convinced Jay-Z was hiding the truth, and they refused to back down. They kept pushing, hoping the courts would finally expose what really went down. But early on, they admitted it was tough. Ramir and Lily didn't have enough solid info to fully push their case forward. They were working with scraps at the start. Still, they kept at it. More recently, though, things got real serious. Ramir and Lily flipped the script and filed a lawsuit, this time against the judges in New Jersey. They claimed the judges weren't neutral at all. According to them, those judges were in Jay-Z's corner from the jump, helping him shut the whole thing down. They said the system never gave them a fair shot and that Jay-Z used his fame, money, and connections to make the case disappear. And on top of that, Ramir and Lily said they've lost over $100,000 chasing the truth that still hasn't come out. Ramir and Lily didn't stop there. They dropped another bomb, claiming Jay-Z's legal team slapped illegal liens on their home. According to them, it was a dirty move that forced them to cough up money they didn't even owe. They called it straight up foul, saying all they ever wanted was justice and not drama, not money, just the truth. Lily didn't hold back either. She called out two huge problems. First, Jay-Z allegedly had a relationship with a 16-year-old girl. Second, that same girl ended up pregnant. Lily believes that if Jay-Z ever did take that DNA test and it confirmed he was the father, it wouldn't just hurt his image and it could cause major legal trouble. She also said Jay-Z could have handled this quiet and clean behind the scenes, but instead he turned his back and left the whole thing hanging for years. Wanda, Ramir's mom, never switched up her story. From day one, she stood firm. All she ever wanted was for her son to know where he came from. Wanda said she had a physical relationship with Jay-Z back in 1992, back when he was still using the name Rock. She said they first met in Philly and that he later took her out to Brooklyn. Not long after, she got pregnant. For years, it was all hush-hush. But once Ramir grew older and started asking questions, the whole legal roller coaster began. On paper, Robert Graves, Wanda's off-and-on boyfriend, was listed as Ramir's father, but the truth? That's what they've been chasing ever since. But in 2011, everything changed. A DNA test officially proved that Robert Graves wasn't Ramir's father. That bombshell only made Wanda more determined to show that Jay-Z was the real dad. She went all in trying to get the truth out there. Sadly, Wanda passed away before she could get the answers she fought for, but the whispers didn't stop. Some insiders even started claiming that Jay-Z might have had something to do with her death. Shocking, right? Now let's bring it back to Kelly Rowland, because she dropped a track that had everyone shook. She released a raw, emotional song called Dirty Laundry from her album Talk a Good Game, and it was nothing short of a confession. That song pulled back the curtain on her real-life pain, and it hit hard. In the lyrics, Kelly opened up about being in a toxic, abusive relationship. She didn't hold back. She talked about how it tore down her confidence and messed with her head. It got so bad, it even strained her bond with her Destiny's Child sisters, especially Beyonce. That line about dirty laundry, it was like she was hanging all her deepest wounds out for the world to see. Fans were stunned. For years, they'd been curious about what she had gone through, but hearing it straight from her was powerful. This wasn't gossip. This was her truth. In interviews, Kelly admitted that recording Dirty Laundry was one of the hardest things she's ever done. She broke down in the studio. That's how real it was. Kelly couldn't even get through recording Dirty Laundry without breaking down. She cried over and over and had to sing that track multiple times before she could finish it without the tears taking over. The pain was real. When her label played the album for the first time, she couldn't even stay in the room. She had to walk out before they hit play on that one song. It was just too raw, too heavy. She said she needed space and real time to heal before she could sing it the way it needed to be sung. And when she finally laid it down, you could feel every bit of that hurt in her voice. That pain didn't sound staged. It sounded like the truth. It took her days just to record that one track. Every time she tried, the flashbacks would hit her and she'd break down all over again. But even with all that emotional weight, Kelly felt she had to tell her story. And when she did, it was unfiltered, honest, and straight up brave. She poured her soul into it. And right at the start of that song, Kelly dropped another bomb. She admitted she felt jealous of Beyonce's success. After Destiny's Child took a break, Beyonce skyrocketed into superstardom. And Kelly, she was left trying to figure out where she fit. She said she was happy for Bey, truly, but inside she felt lost. She didn't know what direction to go with her own career. In her lyrics, she admitted that while her best friend was shining bright, she was stuck in the shadows, hurting and confused. She wanted to feel pure joy, but deep down, she was drowning in pain. Kelly was feeling trapped, like she didn't know where she belonged or what her purpose was anymore. That spotlight that once felt so familiar now felt distant. She was stuck between her past and her future, unsure how to move forward. After Dirty Laundry dropped, the internet went wild trying to figure out who the mystery man in the song was. A lot of folks pointed fingers at her ex-fiance, Roy Williams, but Roy wasn't having it. He jumped on Twitter real quick to clear his name. He tweeted that he was not the man who abused Kelly and made sure to remind everyone that she dated other men before him. He didn't want that kind of weight on his name. Respectfully, he just wanted the truth to be heard without the rumors twisting the facts. For years, fans were left guessing about Kelly and Beyonce's friendship. Were they really ride or dies, or just co-workers who made hits together? Dirty Laundry laid it all out. Kelly's emotions were complicated, but even through the pain and mixed feelings, the song showed one thing loud and clear. Kelly still had love and deep respect for Beyonce. Critics praised her for being so real. Jared Kennedy from the Los Angeles Times called Dirty Laundry one of the most honest tracks she's ever made. He said Kelly was finally breaking free from Beyonce's shadow and finding her own voice in the music game, raw, powerful, and undeniably her. One editor from HuffPost called the song powerful, saying it delivered a message the world needed to hear. It wasn't just music, it was truth wrapped in pain and strength. Charlie Penn from Essence magazine was on the same page. She said Kelly's story could speak to other women who were stuck in the same kind of struggle. And maybe, just maybe, it could give them the courage to walk away from toxic love and finally choose themselves, just like Kelly did. The emotional weight of it all wasn't lost on Kelly either. She told Billboard that it took her days to finish recording Dirty Laundry. She said, "It was very emotional. It took me days to record. I had to get past being so upset and actually sing the song, not sob through it. That pain was real. It poured through the speakers." Kelly also shared how she hopes her music lights the way for others, just like she's been inspired by artists before her. Dream, the songwriter, told her straight up, "I want to write you a record so that people will know exactly who you are underneath it all." And that's exactly what they did. Another critic, Renato Ani from Pitchfork, gave her big props too. He said Kelly did something brave, letting the world see her most vulnerable side while still holding it down strong. He made it clear this wasn't just a sad confession, this was a comeback. She wasn't just a victim, she was a survivor. Even MTV's Jenna Halle Rubenstein had nothing but respect for Kelly's honesty and power. Jenna Halle Rubenstein from MTV said it best, "Airing your dirty laundry like that? It had to be hard for Kelly." But she believed letting it out probably helped Kelly finally start to heal. She gave Kelly major respect for her bravery and for standing tall and sharing her truth with the world, no matter how painful it was. But of course, not everyone reacted with praise. Some folks felt uncomfortable. The song hit too close to home for them. Talking openly about abuse made some people uneasy. Others were just shocked that Kelly revealed so much. A few fans felt straight up sad hearing everything she went through. But even with those mixed reactions, one thing was clear. Dirty Laundry opened up some real conversations. People started talking more about domestic abuse and how so many women suffer in silence. Kelly's honesty helped shine a light on something way bigger than music. It showed how powerful sharing your truth can be, even when it hurts. But things took an even darker turn later on. In 2019, more disturbing truths surfaced. Beyoncé's father, Matthew Knowles, who also managed Destiny's Child back in the day, dropped a shocking reveal. He said that both Beyoncé and Kelly Rowland were taken advantage of while they were still young and on tour in the early 2000s. That revelation left fans stunned, and it raised serious questions about what really went on behind the scenes. Matthew Knowles dropped a major bomb when he revealed that the disturbing behavior came from two members of the R&B group Jagged Edge during a tour back in the early 2000s. According to him, these two men acted inappropriately toward Beyoncé and Kelly Rowland while they were all on tour together. The incident was deeply unsettling, and for fans, it added yet another painful twist to the hidden struggles behind Kelly's rise to fame. Matthew said at the time, both Kelly and Beyoncé were just 16 years old, while the guys from Jagged Edge were grown, around 21 and 22. As their manager and legal guardian, Matthew took that seriously. His job was to protect them, and this situation made it clear how vulnerable they were out there. He shared that one day he got a call from both girls. They sounded scared. They said two older men on the tour were making them feel uncomfortable, crossing lines, and they didn't know what to do. They were shaken and needed help. Matthew didn't waste time. He made a bold call. He had the two men from Jagged Edge kicked off the tour bus in Baton Rouge, Louisiana on the spot. It stirred up a lot of drama afterward, but Matthew stood by his decision. He said protecting the girls came first, no matter what kind of fallout came later. So far, none of the parties involved, not Beyoncé, not Kelly Rowland, and not the men from Jagged Edge, have made any public comments about Matthew's claims. But that silence, it's left fans with a lot of questions, and nobody involved has confirmed or denied Matthew's claims. Total silence. But in that same year, Beyoncé stepped in to shut down a different long-standing rumor about Destiny's Child. For years, people thought Kelly was high during a 2001 interview. Her behavior had fans guessing. But Beyoncé finally set the record straight. She said there were no drugs involved. They were just flat out exhausted. They had been doing interviews back to back for 16 hours straight, barely resting, barely eating. That drained energy. It showed on camera, and people ran with the wrong story for years. Fast forward to more recent drama. Kelly Rowland caught serious heat online after dropping a simple comment under Chris Brown's Instagram post. All she said was she loved him, that's it. But she didn't expect the explosion of backlash that followed. Why? Because Chris Brown had just released a song called Need a Stack, and one line in particular sparked outrage. In the lyrics, he said he only wanted to be with black women who had nice hair. That comment hit a nerve hard. Many fans saw it as a form of colorism, suggesting that certain hair textures made a woman more desirable. The internet didn't let it slide, and Kelly's comment suddenly looked like she was supporting him, whether she meant to or not. Later, Kelly explained that she had no idea about the controversial lyrics when she left that comment. She said it was never her intention to offend anyone, and once again she found herself in the middle of a storm she didn't see coming. At the time, Kelly was all the way in Australia just dropping a quick congrats to Chris Brown for breaking a record. Nothing more. But the next morning, she woke up to a flood of angry messages. Her phone was blowing up with hate, and at first she had no idea what was going on. Then it all started to make sense. Fans began bringing up Chris Brown's past, including serious accusations that he once refused to let dark-skinned women into his VIP sections at clubs. That history resurfaced fast, and suddenly Kelly's innocent comment was being seen in a whole different light. Social media didn't hold back. Some users went as far as posting cruel remarks, saying things like Chris wouldn't even let someone like Kelly into his club, throwing shade at her skin tone and suggesting she didn't fit the type he supposedly preferred. That hit hard. Kelly was shocked by the level of hate coming her way. What started as a simple shout-out turned into a full-blown controversy, and it turned into one of the toughest moments she's had to deal with online. Later, Kelly came forward to clear the air. She made it very clear that she did not support Chris Brown's lyrics or any message that promotes colorism. She spoke up about how the term nice hair or good hair has a painful and complicated history in the Black community. And she shut it down by saying loud and proud, all hair is good hair. Kelly made it crystal clear, nobody should be judged based on their hair or their looks, period. She said the whole situation opened her eyes and taught her a tough but important lesson. In her words, the internet moves way too fast. People jump to conclusions without knowing the full picture. She felt blindsided by how quick folks were to drag her without even asking questions first. Yeah, she was disappointed, who wouldn't be? But Kelly didn't let the hate break her. She stood tall and made sure everyone knew she does not support colorism in any form. Her only goal was to show Chris Brown some love for his record-breaking success, not to co-sign any shady lyrics or controversial messages. That was never her intention. More recently, Kelly popped up in headlines again. But this time, for something way more lighthearted, she shared her thoughts on the Netflix series Building the Band. The show had a wild concept, musicians forming a whole band without ever meeting in person. Kelly thought it was super creative, but also admitted she was a little salty. She didn't think of the idea first. Even though it wasn't her brainchild, she showed nothing but support. She said she was hyped to see how it would all play out and was genuinely curious about how the bands would vibe without ever sharing the same space. Online reactions? A mixed bag. Some people thought it was a dope modern twist on making music in a digital age. Others weren't buying it. They said it just didn't feel real to build chemistry without face-to-face connection. Kelly didn't say too much about the haters or the mixed reactions to Building the Band, but if you read between the lines, you could tell she was a little frustrated. She clearly wished the idea had been hers, and who could blame her? It was a fresh, bold concept. Still, she didn't come off bitter at all. Instead, she kept it classy, showing nothing but excitement and curiosity about how the show would play out. But right when things were calm, Kelly got hit with another mess, this time involving a fake Instagram account that caused serious chaos. A scammer straight up pretended to be both Kelly and Beyonce, sending messages to fans asking them for money. One of the wild claims? That Kelly had lost her credit card and needed cash to buy a plane ticket. And to make it even more ridiculous, the scammer promised that if fans sent money, Beyonce would show up too. When Kelly found out, she was furious. She didn't waste time. she jumped on her Instagram stories, posted a screenshot of the scam, and shut it down instantly. She warned her followers to stay alert and made it super clear that message was 100% fake. And in true Kelly fashion, she found a way to laugh through the madness. She joked about how the scammer couldn't even spell, writing plain instead of plain. It was a light moment in a crazy situation, and she used it to remind everyone, if you get a DM asking for money in her name, it's a straight up scam. The whole fake account situation really had fans on edge. A lot of people commented online saying they were relieved Kelly spoke up when she did. Some even admitted they had gotten similar sketchy messages before. Just more proof that scammers love to use celebrity names to trick people out of their money. It was a wake-up call for many. But even with all that chaos, Kelly and Beyonce didn't let it bring them down. Not long after, the two were spotted together at a Broadway show, showing love and support for their girl and fellow Destiny's Child member, Michelle Williams. It was a moment of unity that fans love to see. But here's where it gets deeper. Michelle also happens to be one of the people who testified against Diddy in his ongoing legal case. And when you bring up Destiny's Child, most people instantly think of Beyonce. She's always been the front runner. And of course, Beyonce and Jay-Z, the power couple, have history with Diddy too. Back in the day, nobody could top Diddy's legendary parties. They were the spot for all the industry elites. And yes, Beyonce was reportedly at some of those wild parties in the early 2000s during her Destiny's Child days. But now that Diddy's name is tied to federal charges, including trafficking and racketeering, people are looking back with new eyes. Some are even questioning Beyonce's early image within the group and realizing her reputation during those years might not have been as squeaky clean as it seemed. There are plenty of people who were close to Destiny's Child have come forward over the years, claiming that Beyonce always wanted the spotlight to herself. Some say she didn't like sharing the stage, and one of the people who reportedly felt pushed to the side was Michelle Williams. Now, with recent lawsuits, shocking accusations, and Kelly finally speaking her truth, what used to be just rumors is starting to sound realer than ever.